Attention News 18 viewers, as we have reported, Jayme Closs remains missing and endangered. She has been added to the top of the FBI's missing persons list. If you have any information regarding the whereabouts of Jayme Closs, or if you have had contact with Jayme, please call the number on your screen. Jayme was first reported missing from her home in Barron County after her parents, James and Denise Closs, were found murdered in their home October 15th. Jayme is 13 years old, has green eyes, and is around 5 feet tall. If you have any information about Jayme, please call this number.
We have a breaking news alert from News 18. Jayme Closs, the missing Barron teen, has been found safe and alive.
Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald released a statement just minutes ago saying Douglas County deputies had found her alive. He says shortly afterward, a suspect now has been taken into custody.
Now, you'll remember October 15th, her parents, Jim and Denise, were killed and she had vanished. We've spoken to her family, especially her aunt. They've been holding out hope and no doubt have to be relieved. The sheriff says she will be reunited with her family later tonight.
Now, we realize that's not a lot of information. That's all the sheriff is releasing for now. A press briefing is scheduled for 10 a.m. tomorrow in Barron. Of course, we will be there. We'll keep you posted on air and online.
We're going to bring you a more in-depth report tonight on our 10 p.m. newscast. For now, we're going to send you back to normal programming.
We are happy to report right now, after 88 days of wondering, Jayme Closs is in the safe custody of her family. Those are words no one was happier to say than the man who's been the face of the investigation for nearly 3 months, Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald.
And then when we confirmed with Sheriff Dahlbeck's team that it's confirmed it was her, my legs started to shake, man. It was awesome.
And we are learning at this hour, Jayme and her aunt have been reunited at the hospital, and she should be reunited with the rest of her family tonight in Barron.
On October 15th, Barron County dispatchers received a call at 12:58 a.m. that would shake the community to its core. Jim and Denise Closs had been killed, and their 13-year-old daughter, Jayme, was gone without a trace.
We don't have a suspect. We don't have any leads right now. Our focus is finding a 13-year-old scared girl.
By the next day, the search for Jayme was already nationwide. The FBI told reporters they believed Jayme had been taken at gunpoint. That night, the first of many vigils was held for the missing teen.
Everyone's feeling very helpless right now.
In the days that followed, the community became a part of the search. On October 18th, 100 volunteers helped in the search for Jayme.
We're looking for items of interest.
5 days later, still without a credible tip, another 2,000 volunteers came from across the Midwest to help in another search.
I believe she's still out there, and the hope is what we're riding on, and that's what we're going to go with.
That weekend, funerals were held for Jim and Denise Closs as their family and the community held out hope that 13-year-old Jayme would be found.
It was all about Jayme. Everything, her world revolved around Jayme.
As the investigation shifted into its second week, the FBI reward was increased to $50,000. As it was announced, the investigative team was cut from 200 to 100. The focus shifted to online communications.
The resources that went into this case are unbelievable, and nothing as a small-town sheriff I would ever thought I'd be part of.
The investigation continued over the next month as authorities continued to check out thousands of tips, but still, they were nowhere closer to finding the teen. Still, though, they held out hope.
When I go to bed, I'm frustrated. When I wake up, I have a little hope back in my heart, hoping that today's the day.
Everybody's struggling, and everybody's scared, but we know we have to be strong to get Jayme home.
As the new year approached, Jayme remained on the minds of those in the Barron County community. On December 12th, hundreds of people attended a Tree of Hope lighting ceremony for Jayme.
We pray that you rescue us from this darkness by making the cross a tree of life and light.
Those prayers were answered on January 10th, 88 days after Jayme Closs was taken.
Douglas County 911.
Hi. I have a young lady at my house right now, and she just says her name is Jayme Closs.
The 13-year-old had rescued herself, escaping her captor and finding help.
Jayme is the hero in this case. There's no question about it. And she's the one that helped us break the case.
With Jake Patterson in custody, the legal process began. He was held on $5 million cash bond, and in February, he waived his right to a preliminary hearing. In late March, he pleaded guilty to murdering Jim and Denise Closs and kidnapping Jayme.
How do you plead to that charge?
Guilty.
Watch the live streaming sentencing of Jake Patterson this Friday at 1:30 on WQOW.com. From WQOW, this is Eau Claire's own News 18 Live at 5.
This is the family that Mr. Patterson destroyed.
Jayme Kloss will never get her parents back. But today, 221 days after that terrible loss, Jayme has some closure as the man who stole their lives learned he will spend the rest of his life in a prison cell. News 18 has covered this case from the very beginning, and today we have team coverage bringing you the conclusion Jayme's family, the Barron community, and the nation have been waiting for. Our own Shannon Hoyt and Savannah Tomei are standing by in Barron to bring us the latest from the courtroom, and we'll hear Jayme's statement to the judge, delivered in its entirety in less than 3 minutes. But first, the conclusion to one of the most disturbing and high-profile cases in western Wisconsin history. It was just a little more than an hour ago we learned that Jake Patterson will spend the rest of his life behind bars for killing Jim and Denise Kloss and kidnapping Jayme Kloss, and he'll spend that without the possibility of parole. That sentence given by Judge James Babler with harsh words for the 21-year-old man.
There is no doubt in my mind that you are one of the most dangerous men to ever walk on this planet. You are the embodiment of evil, and the public can only be safe if you are incarcerated until you die.
During sentencing, Patterson interrupted the judge, saying he's not a bad person. What you just heard was the judge's response. Prior to that, 6 of Jayme's family members gave emotional statements, all asking for the maximum penalty. Let's head now to Barron, where our own Shannon Hoyt is standing by with more on what was said inside the courtroom. Shannon?
Keith, Jake Patterson hung his head and sat nearly perfectly still as family member after family member spoke about how he is to blame for shattering their lives.
My life was ripped apart and shattered into pieces.
Denise's sister, Jayme's cousin, her aunt, and 3 of Jim's siblings all asked the judge to impose the maximum penalty. Among the family members who spoke were 2 of Jim's brothers, and to say the emotion was high is an understatement.
Just give me a minute. And because of this monster, Jayme won't have her mom and dad at her dance recitals. Won't have her mom and dad at her prom, homecoming dance. My brother won't be able to walk down the aisle at a wedding day.
Others spoke about Patterson taking away their sense of security. They spoke about how they have terrible nightmares and how they still think they're going to wake up and this will all be a bad dream. Those statements referenced from Judge Babler as he sentenced Patterson to life.
Okay, thanks, Shannon. Now, while family members spoke all about what Patterson took away from them, they also talked about what he couldn't take from them, Jayme. And although she wasn't in the courtroom today, she did provide a statement which was read by a lawyer.
Judge, this is the statement of Jayme Kloss.
Okay.
Last October, Jake Patterson took a lot of things that I love away from me. It makes me the most sad that he took away my mom and my dad. I loved my mom and dad very much. And they loved me very much. They did all they could to make me happy and protect me. He took them away from me forever. I felt safe in my home, and I loved my room and all of my belongings. He took all of that too. I don't want to even see my home or my stuff because of the memory of that night. My parents and my home were the most important things in my life. He took them away from me in a way that will always leave me with a horrifying memory. I have to have an alarm in the house now just so I can sleep. I used to love to go out with my friends. I loved to go to school. I loved to do dance. He took all of those things away from me too. It's too hard for me to go out in public. I get scared and I get anxious. These are just ordinary things that anyone like me should be able to do, but I can't because he took them away from me. But there are some things that Jake Patterson can never take from me. He can't take my freedom. He thought that he could own me, but he was wrong. I was smarter. I watched his routine and I took back my freedom. I will always have my freedom and he will not. Jake Patterson can never take away my courage. He thought he could control me, but he couldn't. I feel like what he did is what a coward would do. I was brave and he was not. He can never take away my spirit. He thought that he could make me like him, but he was wrong. He can't ever change me or take away who I am. He can't stop me from being happy and moving forward with my life. I will go on to do great things in my life, and he will not. Jake Patterson will never have any power over me. I feel like I have some power over him because I get to tell the judge what I think should happen to him. He stole my parents from me. He stole almost everything I loved from me. For 88 days, he tried to steal me, and he didn't care who he hurt or who he killed to do that. He should stay locked up forever. Judge, those are the words of Jayme Kloss, and it's been my privilege to deliver them to you.
Now, Jake Patterson was also allowed to speak today, although his statement was a lot shorter.
Do absolutely anything to bring them back. You know, I don't care about me. I'm just so sorry.
News 18 was the only local television station with a reporter inside the courtroom. Let's hand things off now to Savannah Tomei in Barron County. So, Savannah, at what point did emotions run highest in the courtroom?
Keith, I was just about 3 feet away from Patterson's father, and it was when his son made those statements to the judge that he really started to lose control of his emotions. But it was emotional for everyone in that room, the Kloss family, the Patterson family, even us as members of the media. It felt like the air was heavier in there. Everybody was relieved to leave the courtroom once it was over. And once it was over, there was a press conference held downstairs. Jayme's aunt, Jennifer Smith, said she was satisfied with the sentence Patterson got, saying it will give Jayme some much-needed peace of mind. She also talked about how Jayme is recovering from the ordeal.
I fully understand the interest and questions related to how Jayme is doing. I can tell you that she has made a great deal of progress, but obviously has much work left to do. She has spent time with her friends, has been doing her homework, and of course is hanging out with Molly.
Smith thanked those who have sent Jayme gifts, donations, and notes of support. She said Jayme has gone through every single one, and it's given her joy and smiles. Meanwhile, also at that press conference, District Attorney Brian Wright and Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald also spoke. We spoke one-on-one with the sheriff earlier today. You'll see that interview tonight at 10.
Okay, thanks, Savannah. Our team coverage continues at 6.